How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL live stream here on Twitch. And today, we're going to be doing our deadline stream for Game Week 9. I won't be able to do it tomorrow because there's a Friday deadline. So we are going to do it tonight, as we normally do when it's midweek, 7 p.m. EDT, as we normally do. And I usually pin comments on the YouTube videos as well. But today, we're going to be discussing potential Lukaku replacements, what I'm going to be doing with my team. We're going to be helping you all out in the chat as well. Future transfers, goals, imminent table, captaincy choices this week, who to captain against. So what teams are on the whipping boys table, as it were, and much, much more. But without further ado, let's talk about our partners for the season, Fantasy Football Scout. So, if you haven't heard of Fantasy Football Scout, I don't know where you've been. They are fantastic. They have all this stuff over my shoulder here. I can never guess which side it is because you would think I'm good at this stuff. But yeah, you know, they have FPL managers to help you out, articles on there that are exclusive for members. You have the members area, which has videos that go up as well as Opta-driven stats tables, which you're going to see a little bit of today as well. So make sure to check that out. It's in the About section. It's in the description on the YouTube videos. They do usually have a preseason offer as well, so it's better to jump on during the preseason. But you get all the same content no matter what. And you can always cancel it at the end of the season and then renew it for the preseason, so you get that discount all the time. So yeah, make sure to check that out. Use the link in the About section. Helps me out, helps you out. It's going to help elevate your FPL game, so why not do it? It's fantastic. All right, let's check out the team. So, we got the team up on the screen for you. We also have the chat going here as well. Snow says, already taken a -4, Saka to Mbomo, and Lukaku to Vardy. Couldn't wait, but that's fine. I understand potential price rises tonight as well. Hello, Snow. Hello, Oliver as well. Hello, Palachenko. Stevie Maz just done it. Made up my changes before the price jump for -4. Benrahma to Son. Lukaku to Tony. I like those. I think those are great. They're future-proofing as well because Son will have good fixtures in a couple of weeks for a run of 4 starting game week 12, which is quite nice. After considering another hit, either Benrahma to Havertz or Tierney to Chilwell. I don't think you need to taking a hit for a defender is always bad. Unless you don't have any playing defenders, in which case then you could do it, but Tierney's going to play. And he could get attacking returns. Aston Villa, I mean, they conceded 3 goals to Wolves, so maybe Arsenal will get a few. So yeah, I would say just kind of be a little bit patient on that. Taking hits for defenders is always a bit tricky because the way the math works out, you basically have to get a clean sheet from them to pay it back immediately. And if the defender you take out is also going to play, and they happen to keep a clean sheet, then it can kind of hurt you. I think I've only taken 1 hit this season now that I think about it. Apologies, my glasses are a bit on the dirty side and I should have cleaned them beforehand. But, and I can't see the screen if I don't have them on, so I can only squint and I can't see the chat. I see that Oliver's made a chat. You can see that how bad my eyesight is. I think when I went to the doctor to get my eyes checked the first time, when they were real bad, they said what I see from 10,000 feet in clarity, or what I see from 10 feet is what everyone sees from 10,000 feet. I'm like -3 point something rather. So yeah, I still have a smudge there. Little fleck of something. I don't know what it is. Gotta get it sorted. There we go. Now we're back in action. All right. Oliver uses free hit and he can't wait for the next game. I'm torn between playing Alonso or Chilwell. I think it'd be a bit hasty to use the free hit. You're going to probably want that later on, but I know you can't cancel it. So if you have used it, then good luck to you. But I would have saved it for it later, to be honest. But hey, if it works out for you, it works out. Alonso or Chilwell, I think it's a 50-50 literally. When it comes to Tuchel and Pep, you just don't know. My guess would be that Chilwell hasn't done anything to lose his place, so I would think Chilwell, but that's just me. I have Chilwell and Reece James. I wouldn't be surprised if they both started. Wouldn't be surprised if neither of them started, so we shall see. We shall see. So, this is the team as it stands up on the screen. We currently have Lukaku as a possible doubt. He is red flagged at the moment. And it says injury, unknown return date. But that was only based on Tuchel's comments. Now, if he comes out and says, oh, well, the scans weren't too bad and he's going to be back for the next game week, I'm definitely going to keep him because I'd rather not waste the transfer when I'm going to want him for Newcastle and for Burnley because he's not going to play in the Carabao Cup in midweek next week. I think Chelsea is still in that. So yeah, should be okay. Do you think Jesus is a good pick for this game week? I would think so, considering he wasn't able to play last week. I think he comes straight back in on the right-hand side. Although Mahrez has been doing well. So, again, with Pep, it's a bit weird. But I would think that Jesus will probably come back in. Sitting at 52k, about 30 points ahead in my mini-leagues. Best ever start. That's fantastic. He said Chilwell's done nothing to lose his place. Neither did Alonso. Alonso got hooked at halftime. One game. Let me see if I can find Alonso. Alonso. There was a game that Alonso played. I want to say it was in the Champions League. I think it was game week 2. Let me bring it up on my second monitor here. Chelsea. Let's see. Champions League. I think it was against Juventus. Yeah, Alonso got hooked at halftime versus Juventus. He got booked like 18 minutes in. And I guess Tuchel didn't like that too much. And Alonso can't really defend, yeah. So I would agree with Snow. I would think that it's probably, if I had to put betting odds in terms of Chilwell versus Alonso, I would probably play I'd probably say 60 to 70% Chilwell to start, 40 to 30% for Alonso. That's just me personally. But I think that they're going to need... So Chilwell brings a lot of creativity. Also, he's been scoring goals too, which Chelsea haven't been doing very much of as of late. And they're going to need creativity. And Alonso brings goal threat more than he brings creativity. So if I'm thinking like how Tuchel, I guess, is thinking, he would play Reece James and Chilwell right wing back and left wing back. Should start Alonso up front instead of Lukaku. He's got close to their top goal scorer. Can play him and Chilwell. I mean, he could. He's got the height. But he'll probably just play... he'll probably just play... I mean, he might play Batshuayi. But if I had to guess, he's probably going to play Havertz. Maybe he plays like Ziyech and then Mount in a front three. Something like that, maybe. I guess. Let me see. Who's Chelsea got in their team that's available? Yeah, he could play a front three of Ziyech, Mount, Havertz. He could play Hudson-Odoi in the front three. I mean, he could play Alonso there. Yeah, but Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, Mount, Havertz, they're all fit, so they're fine there. I would think. Well, they should be. They have a bazillion forwards. I feel like Tuchel would play Alonso against Norwich because it's against a weaker side. That hasn't necessarily panned out as normal. Batshuayi's learned out Besiktas. Oh, I didn't know. I forgot about that actually. I completely forgot about that. I was gonna say Tammy Abraham, and then I was like, wait, they loaned him or sold him with a buyback clause to Roma or whatever it was. But yeah, I would say Havertz is probably... Because Havertz also scored too. Didn't say Ziyech's injured. Maybe he's coming back from an injury. But yeah, Hudson-Odoi, Mount, Havertz look to be the three, mainly. But we'll see. Basically, it's been Chelsea's defenders that have been picking up the FPL points. So it's a matter about nailing those down. That's basically how it's gonna pan out. We know Rudiger's gonna play. Azpilicueta's probably gonna play, and that's just a matter about the other ones. Is Thiago Silva gonna play? Is it gonna be Christensen? Is it gonna be Azpilicueta's gonna be right wing back? Is it gonna be Reece James? So, the fact that Hudson-Odoi will probably have to play in the front three means that James is more likely to play. But I mean, we could see a potentially completely rotated side. You could see like Mendy will probably play in goal, because Arrizabalaga is gonna play, or Kepa is gonna play in the Carabao Cup almost certainly. So you'll see Mendy in goal. You'll see whoever it is at left wing back. Reece James will probably come in at right wing back, because Tuchel said the only reason he didn't play on the weekend gone was because he wasn't match ready yet. So maybe he's gotten 30 minutes under his belt, like he did in the Champions League, and then he'll be ready to go on Saturday. So we'll see. But I think you could see Chalobah come in at right side at center back. You could see Thiago Silva be the central center back, and just Antonio Rudiger as the left sided center back, which would mean that Azpilicueta would get the rest. But again, we'll see. Yeah, Malang Sarr as well played good when they both played. Him and Chalobah were very, very good. Chilwell is a great option going forward. Lots of holes in him. Yeah, exactly. He does do quite well. I hope Jimenez bags against Leeds defense this week. He should do. He definitely should do. That's for darn sure. Leeds look very, very lost without their without some of their players. But yeah, I mean, they've just been hit by injuries, and they have a thin squad to begin with. So that's just something they kind of have to fix. Looking at the fixtures, so tomorrow we got Arsenal versus Aston Villa first. That should be an interesting one, because Aston Villa are coming off kind of a devastating loss. Arsenal coming back from an exciting steal of a point, if you will. So that could be very intriguing. Aston Villa are a very good side, though, and could cause Arsenal some problems. Then we got one game with a lot of people with Chelsea assets versus Norwich. Who's going to start? All that sort of stuff. And then City playing Brighton. Who's going to play in that one? And then a bunch of kind of middling teams playing at 11 o'clock. Crystal Palace should be quite interesting to see. Leeds Wolves could be interesting. Southampton, could they keep their form up as well? So we'll see. There could be some exciting games. I think Sunday is where the real excitement is, though. Brentford Leicester, that's going to be very exciting. West Ham versus Spurs, that was like a 3-3 or something last time at the London Stadium, where Spurs were winning 3-0, and then Lanzini got a cracker of a goal to make it 3-3. And then United versus Liverpool at Old Trafford. I mean, that's the game of the week. And the one we'll be doing the tactics talk for on Sunday. He's in form, and I feel like he's going to score a brace. Aubameyang, maybe it's possible. I mean, Aston Villa conceding goals, they can be quite leaky. Llorente is back for Leeds, and since he's come back the last two matches, they've conceded one goal. That is a good point. I think Llorente is crucial to the team. It's basically their spine of their team needs to be there, plus Rafinha. If they have Rafinha, Llorente, Calvin Phillips, and Bamford, they're fine. When they're mainly missing Rafinha, that's their creativity. They're missing Bamford, who's their goal scorer. They're missing Calvin Phillips, who makes the midfield tick, basically. And they're missing, at points in the season, they've missed Llorente, who's their best center back. Basically, when Llorente's in there, they're good. When Llorente is out, they're bad. That's pretty much how it kind of plays out. But Llorente's back. I think Calvin Phillips is back in full training as well, which is going to help their team a bit more defensively and with the tempo, because he's the one who kind of dictates everything as well. Excuse me. So, yeah. Let's actually take a look at some of these defenses. So, as we mentioned at the beginning of the stream, this is Fantasy Football Scouts membership area. This is one of the tables that we've created called the Whipping Boys table. So this is the teams that aren't doing too well. It's sorted by XG conceded, which is basically how many goals they probably should have conceded over the last 4 game weeks. So if we sort it over the last 4 game weeks, Watford, Man United, and Norwich are the bottom 3, which isn't ideal for them. Man United, again, playing Liverpool, who have probably the best player in the world at the moment, and Mo Salah. Could be a captaincy option, but Lukaku would have been not too far behind. But he might be injured for this week, so we'll have to wait and see. Salah seems the best captain this week. Sorry, no, you're a United fan, but defense is dodgy lately. Who would be your differential captain? In my team, I put the vice on Cancelo, but I'm not sure if that's actually correct. If I knew the early team news for Chelsea, I'd put it on one of the wingbacks. I think. Like, if I knew Chilwell was starting or Reece James was starting, I'd put it on one of them probably as a differential captain. But again, we won't know the team news. So that's where we're gonna have to kind of wait and see, I think. See what the press conferences hold. But right now I have it defaulted on Salah. I mean, the form that he's in, he's probably going to be over 100% effective ownership again. So we chuck it on him. If he scores a boatload against United or scores one versus United and they lose or win or whatever, then fine. Ideal circumstance would be Salah scores a hat-trick and United wins 6-3. That'd be ideal. Wouldn't mind that at all. That'd be a very entertaining game. FPL captain does well, but United scores 6 past Liverpool. Not going to happen, though. And if it did, well, what a game that would be. Yeah, that's very unlikely to happen, I would say. Mind you, if I probably put $1 down on that correct score, I'd probably win like 15 grand back. So, but likelihood is that's not going to happen. I think I predicted Liverpool to win 2-1 because that's what my head says. My heart says that United will go down early 1-0. They'll make it to halftime. They'll come back out like they did versus Atalanta, and they'll come back and win it 2 or 3-1. If you were to bet on probably the most common thing, it's probably a 1-1 or a 0-0. That's usually what it is between the big 6 teams anyway, so. Yeah. But yeah, getting back to the table. So yeah, basically, if your team's playing one of the teams that are on the top part of this table, the way it's sorted, your captain's playing against them, chances are they might do well. So if you got any Everton assets, any Liverpool assets, any Chelsea assets, any Arsenal assets maybe, who's Burnley plays? Southampton assets, probably likely that you're going to be playing against a very weak defense. That's what the table excuse me, is designed to show. But United hasn't been great. Like, even Norwich have kept 2 clean sheets in the last 4 game weeks. United has kept 0. Which is not ideal. Let's take a look at the goals imminent table. So what this is over the last 4 game weeks, players who have basically a minimum of 10 goal attempts. They've scored a maximum of 1 goal. And their expected goals is basically a number. And at the top of that list, with 2.27 expected goals, with only 1 goal scored, is actually Cristiano Ronaldo. So maybe Liverpool might be conceding some goals. There's actually a few United players on here. Ronaldo's on there. Fernandes is on there. Pogba's on there. Greenwood's on there. We've also got Antonio on there as well. He's definitely on there. Timo Werner's on there. Looks to be injured. Harry Kane is also on there as well. Having scored 1 goal, he's expected to have scored a little bit more than that. Elianusi from Southampton, again in the top 5 of teams that are playing against bad teams, is on there. Bowen, he's playing Spurs. He's on there. Although I think he scored in the Europa League or whatever tonight. St. Maximan's on there, so maybe he might get something. That'd be nice. We got Ben Rama's on there, Trossard, Norman. A lot of people brought him on a wild card as a cheap midfielder because it seems to have taken Gilmore's place. Tielemans is on there after having scored as well. And Partey. Actually, I think I have to change the metric. Yeah, I don't think I actually set this up correctly. Hold on. You'll get to see the back end of stuff now. I don't think it's XG. I think it's XG delta. I think it's minus. Let's see how this works. If it's going to work. And we'll make it all matches. Oh no, I still have to modify it. I still have it wrong. So modify conditions. It's got to be minimum of minus 0.20, maximum of 1,000. Because we want to see the people that have been underperforming, that should be scoring more. And then we want to change it to last 4 game weeks. So basically players that have taken shots and haven't done well. Because like Van Dijk as an example, you see his XG delta is minus 0.65, but that's across the whole season. But it's not like he's taken a whole pile of shots at goal. This seems a bit more normal. So yeah, all of these players, like XG Delta, Ronaldo should have scored at least an extra 1.27 more goals than what he scored now. So yeah, that's a little bit more normal. I think that gives it a better representation. So like Elianusi, he should have scored at least an extra goal. Excuse me, because he scored none, but he's expected to have scored 1.18 goals. So that works out nicely. But yeah, some big names on here. A lot of United players, and everyone's going off them. Kane's in there as well. Um, could be intriguing. So very, 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 very interesting. I was tinkering around with the team a little bit here. Now, see if you follow my logic on this one. Let me get a drink real quick. So, basically in game week 12, which is when Spurs start their good run. So it's this run here. Everyone's going to be looking to get in Kane and Son, right? So the way to do that, if I were to have players from those two teams, Son, Kane, it would be something like that. But I have to make up 5.2 million, obviously, because we don't have the budget for it. So what is the most efficient way for me to get there? Well, in game week 12, I'd be probably playing Trent. I'd be playing both my City defenders. I'd obviously playing Son and Kane. Probably play Raul Jimenez. Rafinha will probably play. Salah will definitely play. And Mbeumo in 12 versus Newcastle. Yep, he's going to play too. So we play at least these two, 4 in midfield, 3 at the back. So we need either an extra defender, so one other defender if we bring them in, or whichever forward we would replace. So this could be Ivan Toney for sure, because that allows for a cheaper option. Jimenez could go down to a very, very cheap striker to get the max amount of money that we want. And then we'd have to get rid of somebody else for 1.7. The problem is we can't downgrade either of our Chelsea defenders, which is what we'd want to do. That's kind of the issue. And another thing, too, when I look at the... if I bring up the price changes... Vardy, Toney, Rafinha, Son, De Bruyne all look to be going up in price. So that doesn't help us, because Son going up in price is bad. Toney going up in price is bad. Lukaku would go down, which is bad. Yeah. The rest of them don't really matter too much. Veltman going down would probably be bad for some. Sanchez could be going down, which is bad for some. Yeah, that would be probably bad. But that's kind of what I want to get to. And with my team structure, with the money kind of spread out, it makes it very difficult to get money in a slot that I don't have that isn't Salah. Because obviously I can take Salah out and bring him, bring Son in. But I would want Salah and Son at the same time, obviously. Yeah, I'll need an extra 0.5 to do the existing price change. Yeah, exactly. So I'd be kind of screwed there either way. So it would mean, like, if I wanted to make sure that that was the case, I'd have to take out, like, Rafinha. But the thing is, Rafinha still has, his fixtures... These two are potentially the easiest ones. Brighton's probably a bit difficult. But they could have their players back by then, and then they could be really good. So, Rafinha is the type of player you don't really want to necessarily get rid of. You can bench him some weeks and just play him. I mean, Leeds are going to attack no matter what. So, I mean, I could always easily just go like Rafinha, have Son, and then I could just downgrade one of my Chelsea defenders to just like Livramento. If I did Rafinha, that would make it real easy. Real easy. I think that would also mean... Oh, no, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I would have to downgrade Jimenez to somebody. But, I mean, Tony's fine. That's what we'd want. So that would be 5 transfers, because it would be 4 hits for this week, and I only have 1 free transfer. It would be 5 transfers. So, I'd have Gameweek 9, do nothing. Gameweek 10, have 2 frees. Gameweek 11 is 3. Gameweek 12, 4. So basically I could do it all for a -4 if I wanted to. But it would mean losing Rafinha, which is not ideal. It would also mean losing Jimenez before he plays Norwich and Burnley, which I don't want to do either. Unless I downgrade Trent, which is probably, excuse me, pretty crazy to do because he's difficult to get back as well. But Spurs also could just be rubbish as well. So will I need both Kane and Son? Maybe, maybe not. The other thing is I wouldn't want Kane. I wouldn't want to get Kane in next week. Because he plays United. Oh, he plays United at home. If I was going to get Kane, it would either be this week versus West Ham. Or it'd be versus Everton beforehand. I wouldn't want to get him on the week that he plays United. So, like, the only thing is, like, I don't want to take out St. Maximin because he does play Crystal Palace this week. How owned is Tony, by the way? Less than St. Maximin. Really? That's interesting. See, like, if I was, like, super knee-jerky and I wanted to make sure that I got the money for, you know, for Tony, I would just get rid of St. Maximin, get rid of Lukaku for -4, bring in Kane right now and just not worry about it. And then if I wanted money for Son, I would do no transfers in 10. I'd have to make 1 transfer in 11, which would probably just be like Chilwell or James down to Livramento or Manquillo or something like that. It was super cheap. And then in 12, I'd have to find money to get Son. If I did Reece James down to Manquillo playing 4 million defender, I'm still short even if I get rid of Rafinha. So I'd have to downgrade elsewhere by a decent chunk. So the only possible way that would just be Jimenez. Unless I kept the Chelsea defender. If I downgraded Jimenez straight down to like Let's go for a Broha, let's say. Could I do that with Broha? No, I'd still have to get rid of... I'd have to get rid of Rafinha, but I could be outpriced by then. But I want to see more... The problem is I want to see more from Kane before I go on him. And if Lukaku's back next week, which he could be, Newcastle and Burnley, I definitely want him for. The only thing is that not getting rid of him potentially tonight means a 0.1 on him, a 0.1 on Tony. Son has a 0.1 as well. Yeah, Rafinha may jump twice before Gameweek 12, true. But again, in an ideal sense, I don't want to sell Rafinha. Mind you, Chilwell going up, we'd get value. That would be good. I don't really want to get rid of these three in defense. But I'm not sure if Mbeumo and Tony on the double up is actually a good thing. That's the only issue. Unless I just don't want Son at all. Even though I think Son is kind of the main one. If I think that Kane will be enough over those fixtures, and I just captain Kane instead, and it's fine. Like, who does Salah have from 12 to 15? He's got Southampton at home, 13. Who does Kane have? Burnley away. Okay. So Salah has who in 12? Arsenal at home. Might captain Salah on that one, to be fair. Kane's got Norwich at home in 15. I believe Ronaldo's got like Watford or something like that, right? Who's Ronaldo in 15? Palace at home. Palace are good. Could be difficult. So I think when I'm thinking, this is what I've learned basically. When I think of things, this is how I did it last season. Last season, when I was thinking of things to do to the team, or transfer, or whoever, I always thought of multiple different things. Some were gut instincts, some were, oh, this looks nice, some was this, some was that. And I always picked something and it always kind of burnt me or it didn't work out well. So what I think I'm going to do is just do nothing. Just play Lukaku. If he plays, he plays. If he don't, he don't. If he... if he's, you know... if he's out for several weeks... and we know it next week, then he's out for several weeks, and we transfer him out, I think. Also, next week, I mean, I'm not also opposed to... I mean, I could always do Lukaku to Vardy, who's going up, which everyone seems to be jumping on the bandwagon. I mean, he scored 4 goals in the last 4 game weeks, which is... or 5 goals, which is pretty nuts. In that time, he plays Brentford, Arsenal, and Leeds. You say Lukaku's out for a few weeks, but that's what Tuchel said. They haven't actually checked. Like, they haven't determined that yet. He hasn't had a press conference where he's like, yeah, Lukaku's definitely out for a few weeks. Because if they did, then this would say a specific return date. If we knew a defined period. Although if Tuchel comes out and says he's going to be out for several weeks, then they'll still put on a return date. But like, let me see if I can see anything on Lukaku. Lukaku. So Chelsea forward can bounce back from injury quicker than expected, says agent Federico Pastorello. He was very sad actually yesterday as a first reaction, but everyone was seeing he was playing a good game, and I'm 100% he would have scored goals had he stayed on. The fact he was down for 4 minutes, I was with Petr Cech and I told him while watching the game that it was something I was scared about because he isn't one to make a fake scene. When he stood up, I thought it is not a good sign, and now we're waiting for the exam, so we will know something more soon. So, again, we don't fully know. Now, this is another article here from another website that says Lukaku expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, we shall see. But the swelling was apparently too much on Thursday for the scans to provide a true picture of the extent of the injury. Still, as reported in the Telegraph, Lukaku is expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks, which would rule him out of all of November's international break and presumably give him the 2 weeks to help recover as well. So, again, not too sure. Your defense is magic. Those 5 will get loads of points to cover, so wouldn't worry about it too much. Yeah, true. I mean, I could always just bench Lukaku. That's another thing as well. Watch, I could also just bring in Vardy, bring him in for 3 game weeks as well. That's another thing I could do for just a free. Play him for 3 weeks. Actually, that's let me check. There was something else I wanted to check. So if I do that, and I go Kane. Nope, I'm short. Okay. No, I'm not short. Vardy. So if I did Vardy this week, no transfer the following week, and then did Kane, Davis, and Livramento for a -4, I could do that. Then in game week 12, we can see how Son plays maybe, and then go Vardy and Smith Rowe out to Son and a cheaper forward. I don't know. Vardy to Kane in game week 12 too. Yeah, I don't have to necessarily have both of them as well. But yeah, if I do Vardy, like Lukaku to Vardy could also just work out nice as well. So Lukaku's blanked for game weeks and Vardy's on form. Yeah, it just seems like can Vardy sustain it though? That's the real thing. That's what I'm doubting at the moment. Probable ligament damage depends on how bad. Yeah, it's probably going to be a few weeks, I think. iPro Breaker, what are your thoughts on Aubameyang for this game week? They're in some kind of good, weird form. Their fixtures are nice as well. I'm still not fully convinced on Arsenal. I think it's more of a... They go defense first. That's what I think. I mean, if they go up against a team where they can open them up, then yeah, sure. Like, Villa's going to try to come out and play against them, but they're still good defensively. They have a good goalkeeper. Leicester could just play counter-attack if they wanted to. Watford and Newcastle would probably be the 2 fixtures. If you're going to play, you're going to get a Aubameyang for maybe in one of those. But it's sandwiched around Liverpool, which isn't the greatest. And you're going to want to make way for these. This run's not great either. That run of fixtures is not too bad, but yeah, this section is not ideal for Aubameyang. I got 3 Arsenal in my wildcard and have been getting rid since. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I only have 2. I have Ramsdale and Smith Rowe, but Smith Rowe doesn't necessarily play every week, so And Ramsdale and Raya rotate. So, yeah. Maybe it is just a situation. Just bring in Vardy. Just have him in that placeholder. But we'll see. Will Daka partner Vardy after this midweek 4 goals? Shame on Iheanacho. He was looking good again. I have no clue, to be honest. I know Vardy will probably he'll start most games. He's probably not going to come off in the Premier League, and in Europe and stuff they won't play Vardy at all. Which is nice because that still means Daka and Iheanacho are getting doing well. But Daka might start. He definitely might too. I think it's a matter of, like you mentioned there, Vardy +1, right? Who that's going to be, I don't know. I think Iheanacho and Vardy probably work better, just because Iheanacho can play provider. Iheanacho, I think, is the key. I think it's Iheanacho +1 long term, really. That's kind of how I see it. Because he's very good at assisting. I mean, didn't he assist like 2 or 3 of the 4 Daka goals that he scored? Something like that. So, they did quite well. Cheers, says iPro. No worries. Anytime that we can help, we try to do so. Now, let's take a look at the all-important captaincy table. So, this is over the last 4 game weeks. We sorted it by expected goal involvement. Yeah, no surprises. Mo Salah at the top. With Jamie Vardy not too far behind as well. And the crazy thing is that Jamie Vardy has been getting a lot of shots in the box tied with Mo Salah, which is very encouraging data as well. Very, very encouraging data. So, yeah, it could be good news for Jamie Vardy. He hasn't created any big chances though. Where if you look at Mo Salah, he's created 3, and he's got 2 assists from it as well, which is nice. Wanted Iheanacho, but since Daka's performance, not so sure. Yeah, I mean, Iheanacho would be great at 7 million. He really would. But yeah, there's a part of me that always that's saying from last season, make the transfer, and bring in Vardy. But I kind of want to see what the press conference say, because I really do think, if we look at like Lukaku, if Lukaku's back in game week 10, if he is back, Newcastle away, Burnley at home, whereas Vardy has Arsenal at home, Leeds away. I think Lukaku outscores him in those 2. Vardy's had a nice rest during the summer, leading to his great start. Yeah, I mean, he always starts well. I think Daka was brought in to replace Vardy in the long term this season to bed him in, and then we'll get more game time with Iheanacho next season. I believe you're right, Stevie. I believe you're right on that one. That's how I saw it as well, because Daka's really pacey, the goal scorer type, and Iheanacho can link play, and is quite strong. So, yeah, I think you're right on that one. But yeah, let's go back to the captaincy table, and then we'll kind of finish off with just a little bit more if we do, like, let's say get Vardy. Antonio's also there as well. Son, Cristiano Ronaldo's in there. He's also on our goals imminent table. Sadio Mane is in there as well. Kane and Lukaku round out the table. But Salah, Vardy, definitely the best captaincy shouts thus far. I think Vardy could struggle. I think Leicester could struggle versus Brentford, because if we take a look at who Leicester have done well against. So they won 1-0 versus Wolves. They barely won. They got thrashed by West Ham. They barely beat Norwich. They just barely lost to City. They lost to Brighton. They drew 2-2 with Burnley. They drew 2-2 with Palace. And then they beat United. But United are terrible. So is it really worth getting Jamie Vardy? They haven't really convincingly beat any team except for United. And they've either scraped by or gotten thrashed by the team. So, I'm not too sure. Really not too sure. He would also just be a 3-week punt and just whatever. Well, punt. He's 24.3% owned. But could just be brought in and go for 3 game weeks and see how it goes. But the thing that I don't want to do is take out Lukaku tonight, bring in Vardy, come to find out the scans, the swelling goes down tomorrow, and it's like, oh yeah, Lukaku's ankle was just sore, but he'll be fine for Saturday. Then I'll really be kicking myself. Or yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be back fine for Newcastle and Burnley. Then I'll really be, not too happy. That's it for me, Vardy, for 3 game weeks. What's my likely starting 11 this week? So, it's everybody in this team currently, except for Lukaku, probably. If I'm picking someone directly from my bench, it's going to be Mbuemo. And Raya will be I'll have the double up there. So I'll be rooting for Brentford 100% for that 2 o'clock kickoff UK time on Sunday. Mbuemo's got to score, surely. So that makes me think that, do I really need to get rid of Lukaku? I don't necessarily need to. I have cover on the bench. That's why I built the wildcard team the way it was. The real question is just, who do I captain? Now, stats table say Mo Salah, but he's up against my personal team, which is United. So, do I go with something different? If I knew Reece James and Chilwell were going to play, or one of them was going to play, I'd captain one of them, maybe. Something differential. But I think this week is just, don't do anything crazy. This is one of those weeks where you can overthink things, I think, which is what I've kind of done on the stream. So I might just be like, you know what? We'll just leave it and see how it goes. Next week, if Lukaku's out injured for longer, I get rid of him and bring in Ivan Toney. And play Ivan Toney and Mbuemo, because they play, I think they play somebody easy. Burnley away? Yeah, sure. We'll take that. And then we'll bench St. Maximin because he plays Chelsea. Jimenez would play Everton. So, yeah, if we did go Vardy, as an example, we would just need to make sure that we had money for Kane. So Kane is going to be, let's say Kane is 12.3 million. Which would mean if we gain no sell value on Vardy, that would be 11.7. So 12.3 would mean we need an extra 0.6. Which would mean we would need to downgrade something elsewhere. So we could just literally go from St. Maximin down to a non-playing forward. Because we just play Kane, we play Jimenez, we play Rafinha, Salah, and Mbuemo, and we play our back 5. If we wanted to. Because in Game Week 10, all our defenders have good fixtures. In Game Week 11, then we could potentially play St. Maximin versus Brighton. We'd bench probably Diaz just because they play United, and Cancelo would be the more attacking one. And then everything else would be the same. And then go from there. Chilwell sounds like a great captain if you want to go against Salah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, just a wing back in general. Cancelo, Chilwell, Reece James, Alonso, Azpilicueta if he's playing wing back. One of the Leicester wing backs even, possibly, if you know that they're going to start. If I knew Iheanacho was playing, I would probably go Iheanacho as a differential, because he can't be very highly owned. I mean, he's 7 million. 2.8% owned. And Brendan Rodgers has started playing this formation, the with the two up front, the 3-4-1-2, just over the last couple of game weeks. I mean, if Iheanacho plays, I mean, he's going to destroy teams. He's just so good. So if I knew, if I was going to go maybe potentially get rid of Lukaku, I could just go Iheanacho. Because he might be the one that just scores goals. And he'd be the differential. I'd still probably captain Salah in that situation just because I'm going with someone extra risky again. But you could also see that Daka could easily just come in, which is why it's just too risky. Now, if Brendan Rodgers is playing those two guys up front and Daka or Vardy or Iheanacho is injured, I mean, you can just get the cheapest one out of those two. So you just go, if Daka's injured and Iheanacho and Vardy are playing up front together, you get Iheanacho. If Vardy's injured and Iheanacho versus Daka, you just pick the one who's scoring the goals. If Iheanacho's injured and it's Daka and Vardy, you pick Daka. Makes sense. If he was guaranteed, would you not swap Iheanacho for Jimenez? Why would you swap Lukaku if he's injured? Like, I would wait for the press conferences. If Tuchel comes out and says, yeah, the scans say his ankle's ruined, basically. He's out for a few weeks. I'll just go Lukaku down to Iheanacho. Bank the money. Because I still think Jimenez still has something to offer. We've only had him for a game week. Leeds away, could score there. Everton at home, they're fallible. Crystal Palace can easily concede. Then Norwich and Burnley. Like, I expect, there's what, 6 fixtures here? Probably a goal every other game. And maybe an assist or two in that, which is great. If you can get it. Looking at Antonio and Tony in my forward line, one of them will be changing in a few weeks. Yeah, probably Antonio, I would say, is probably the one that's potentially on the chopping block. Just because West Ham haven't been doing as well. Like Spurs at home could be a good fixture, but then Villa away, Liverpool at home, Wolves away could be tricky. Man City, Brighton are very stingy. Chelsea, it could be a bit difficult now. 18 onwards, I mean... This is Antonio time right here. 18 to 27. We're looking good if he's fit there. We're looking real good if he's fit there. He would be the guy. Calvert-Lewin, if he's fit, when's his good fixtures? Oh, look. 18 to 30. Looking real good. And then you have... Ronaldo looking real good. Yeah, if Iheanacho's playing, then yeah, sure. And Iheanacho's fixtures are good up until like game week 17 still. Then they have some tough ones, and then they're a bit mixed. This little short run is okay, but these fixtures, the on-off fixtures, is kind of not ideal unless they start to fade around this point. But they could be out of Europe by this time, which would probably help them actually. Rashford did well for you last season. Yeah, Rashford could also be another shout too. I mean, the triple up for United is probably going to be looked at. And there's going to be some managers that are going to be wildcarding in triple United for that, trying to get ahead. So again, they're gonna try to do that. As a United fan, I'm still skeptical. Yes, the win was fantastic. Come back, go 2-0 down in the first 30 minutes, and then play like it's your last game of football and win 3-2 with Ronaldo scoring the winner. Is great, but you can't sustain that. If we were 2-0 down to Liverpool or Chelsea, it's lights out. Almost certainly. Son to Rashford around that. Yeah, easy to do that as well. Yeah. Son to Rashford. Last 8 games of the season, Leicester attacker will be a must for their final push for Europe. Let's see who gets nailed for then. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. They'll be pushing for Europe as well. Yeah, that's true. I just think they just need to play the front two. Like, for whatever reason, Brendan Rodgers just likes playing. He just tries to play a 3-4-3, or he tries to play like a 3-4-3 with like Harvey Barnes and Iosi Perez. And then he comes to this conclusion that, hey, look, Iosi Perez and Harvey Barnes aren't actually as good. I got suckered in because I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to start with Harvey Barnes. He didn't do well at all. Then he realizes, hey, that Iheanacho fella's pretty good. Let me put him in. Chucks him in, and hey, look, Iheanacho starts scoring goals and assisting every game week. It's like, didn't see that one coming. I mean, we did. We know. Iheanacho was demolishing the league towards the end of last season. And they almost made Champions League spots because of it. So, yeah, we'll have to see. But, yeah, I think that's going to do it. I think if I'm going to go with a transfer, Lukaku to Vardy, but I think I'm just going to roll a transfer, go into next week with 2, see what's going on. If Lukaku's, see if we'll give him an extra week and see how it goes. And then go from there. So this is the team. I'll read it out one more time. We got Ray in goal, James, Chilwell, Alexander-Arnold, Diaz. Cancelo's the vice captain currently. That might change. Salah captained, Rafinha, Saint Maximin, Jimenez, and Lukaku's in the team, but Mbeumo's first sub, so he'll come in. Smith Rowe and Brownhill. We've opted playing Rhea over Ramsdale just because I think that Rhea will probably make more saves than Ramsdale will. I think both teams will probably concede, but I think Rhea will get more saves, so that's what we'll go for. I think Salah's probably just going to stay captain. I know it's boring, but if I feel the itch, if I feel something, inspire me, maybe I'll chuck it on one of the wingbacks, and we'll go all guns blazing for that as well. So Barnes, he cost me a fair bit for the first 5 games he dropped from my FPL team for life. Yeah, true. He also dropped in cost a lot as well, yeah. So, yeah, I felt the same way. And I just couldn't get rid of him because I had other fires to put out at the beginning of the season. So, somehow I navigated that. And I'm in a decent position. So, we'll see. But yeah, let's talk about Fantasy Football Scout one more time. So if you haven't done so already, make sure to check out all this good stuff in the members area. We saw some of the tables that we used tonight on the stream. It's fantastic. You can create your own tables. I have mine public, so that you can check them out as well. It's in the About section or in any of the descriptions on all of our YouTube videos. So make sure to check that out. And yeah, let's move over to the big screen. And as Snow says, best of luck to all of you in Game Week 9. Remember, the deadline is tomorrow. It's 1 hour before the, or 1.5 hours before the kickoff, which is, it's 2:30 in the afternoon my time, which would be 6:30 in the evening for the UK. I'm 1 hour ahead of Eastern time, so make sure to get your teams set up on that one as well, and make sure to look over for Fantasy Football Scouts, kind of articles and that sort of stuff, and see what they tweet and that sort of stuff. So make sure to follow them over there. Make sure to follow me over on Twitter as well, because I'll be retweeting a lot of their stuff as I normally do for injury news and press conferences and all that sort of stuff. So, and we will see who gets picked for Chelsea, how long is Lukaku out, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, take care.